Friday's hot topic: which stars are coming to Major League Soccer in 2025? There are reports swirling about a one Neymar, Brazilian superstar Neymar, buying a
Why? Why are we talking about Neymar coming to MLS? What could possibly have sparked such a conversation, Robert?
well, not only do his two buddies, Messi and Suarez, play in Miami, but he bought a $26 million mansion down in South Florida and has been spotted going out and about with the Beckhams.
Oh yeah, okay. So he bought a lot. Is that what I'm to understand? Let's see what I got here. There it is. He bought an empty waterfront lot in
Not a
Miami.
mansion. He bought a lot for a mansion.
Yeah, could be planning to build a 13,000 square. I mean, look, I'm a homeowner. I think you're a homeowner,
Yeah.
Robert. I bought a house. I didn't buy a lot. I wasn't going to get involved in construction. I got friends who did that. You're committed when you buy the land and then you're like, hey, let's put up a house. And I got to plan all that and pick all the fixtures. And here it is that you were talking about out and about with Dave. When you're in Miami buying a lot, you might as well go out with David Beckham and Posh Spice.
Posh
She looks
Spice looking
thrilled.
through. Yeah, she's thrilled to be there on that. Maybe that dinner ran a little long.
I mean, and Neymar looks exactly the same in every photo they ever take of him. Like that's what he's wearing, black denim and all that. So, I don't. Does this mean he's coming to Major League Soccer? I mean, naturally, the speculation will be he's going to join Messi and Suarez and Busquets and Alba in Miami. I don't know how they can possibly fit him under the cap. Robert, can you tell me?
I mean, who would be the player? I mean, would they have to drop a player to insert him? Like,
I don't want to get. I don't want. Hold on. I don't want to get into the actual machinations, the mechanisms necessary to get Neymar into that roster for Tata Martino.
Fair enough.
I just like the speculation. Like I just like the idea of like what could he be coming? Sure, and you know, would Neymar be good in Major League Soccer? I'm kind of not sure. I'm kind of not sure.
What are the sort of things that plant seeds of doubt? Is it the travel? Is it the fields, or the apathy? Perhaps.
I think there are players that, and it's a sense, right? You don't have anything to go on but gut here, but and obviously the recent developments in his career kind of lead me into this line of thinking. But there are players where you go, hey, that guy might work because he seems to care about the game in a way that it wouldn't matter where he's playing, what the field conditions are like, the travel, that kind of stuff. I mean, I do think the travel and the weather are big things that guys have to adjust to. But there are guys that are like, you can just see that they are earnest footballers. They're not these guys that are all about the glitz and the glamour first and foremost. Like even Messi, who's made more money than God as a footballer, has never seemed like a guy who was in it for the money. He was always kind of like, I'm just a soccer player who happens to be the best you've ever seen, and then these things come with it. Mm-hmm. Neymar has always kind of been, he's on the yacht, he's in Saint-Tropez, he's got the flashy car, he's doing all these things, and that does not always translate to he fits in Major League Soccer. And that'd be why I would have concerns about Neymar. Talent-wise, and I can't tell you right now, with his long-term injury and all this stuff, like how he might adapt to life in MLS and the physical rigors of it.
You're talking about the commitment to doing the lot, so then building a mansion. I saw a lot of VH1 behind the music, and building an elaborate mansion sometimes is the undoing of people. So hopefully, for Neymar's sake, this isn't the giant project that undermines his family's inheritance or anything like that.
But maybe we can get a reality show out of Neymar building his mansion in Miami. Okay, I'm going to throw this up here from KY. That's what y'all said about Suarez. I think we still overestimate the level of the league and how easy it is. Okay, two parts to this comment. Number one, that's what we said about Suarez. I never said Suarez wasn't going to be committed to playing as hard as he could. I think everybody thought Luis Suarez was going to bring his full effort when he joined MLS. He is, again, a guy that you watch as whatever you think about the biting or the handball against Ghana or the trouble he got in at Liverpool with the words that he said, whatever you think about him in those ways, there is no doubt that Luis Suarez is a gamer.
Yeah, all those
100%
misbehaviors
again.
come from his insanity
He's
levels of competitiveness.
overly competitive.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Luis Suarez. If he was healthy, there were no doubts about Suarez and what he could do in MLS. The question was whether he could stay healthy. And we've all been proven wrong on that front. We've all been proven wrong that Luis Suarez stayed healthy the entire season. And if not for Suarez, probably Miami's not breaking a points record because they were missing Messi for so long. So I give Luis Suarez a ton of credit, but I don't think that in terms of the level of the league and how easy it is. Maybe. Okay, maybe. I don't know how to counter that. That's just your opinion, whatever. I do think playing with Messi sometimes, playing with Busquets, playing with Alba, playing with, those guys has helped, has helped the Luis Suarez adapt to the league, score a bunch of goals. And, you can see it. You look around the league at the level of player and the guys that had done it at a high level have been able to translate it in a lot of cases. Like Christian Benteke, again, a guy who gives full effort, and he's out there heading balls in for DC United despite the fact they can't make the playoffs. So I don't know. Then again, when it comes to Neymar, right, I don't want to be unfair to the guy. I just think that maybe the choice to go to Saudi Arabia, maybe some of the things that have come with his career, the lack of significant success at PSG and sort of how it trails him around with his legacy, I don't know that makes for a great recipe for Major League Soccer. But there might be some other guys. Robert, do you want to look at some other pictures? Some other players?
This brings up the topic of just kind of having fun with it. Stars we'd like to see in MLS. I mean, if we're in the new era where the stars the limit, as far as the names that can be brought into the American domestic first division, there's been some names touted about and a couple names that would just be fun to see. Yeah. Of those 6, we see on the screen pictures of Griezmann, Pogba, De Bruyne, Benzema, Salah, Modric. Which one of those would you like to see come stateside?
Well, you want to rank them? I can rank them real fast. Ooh. Okay, let me see. This is a mix. It's not just ability. It's not just who the best player is or who my favorite player is to watch, because I think, man, this is really tough. 3 of my favorite players are on this. 3 of my absolute favorite players are on this list. And one of them is not Mo Salah, even though I love him too. But I think, man, okay, I have to say that Luka Modric, as much as I love him, and he is one of my all-time favorite players, he is old. I know he's still getting it done for Madrid. I know he's still getting it done for Madrid, but he is old. De Bruyne is the classiest player I've maybe ever seen in my life. He can do so many things. The way he plays is incredible. I want to see De Bruyne in this league, but Griezmann has a flair that I love as well. And I've always hoped for Griezmann in this league. So I'm going to say number 1, De Bruyne, number 2, Griezmann. Mo Salah, man, even though he's behind Modric in terms of my favorite players, Mo Salah, come on, that's number 3 because of where he is in his career, his age. I think that makes Modric number 4, Benzema number Modric number 4, Benzema number 5, Pogba number 6, and Pogba's star has dimmed so much because of the PED scandal and being banned that it's hard to know how good he would be in MLS. Even if I love the idea of that being a reclamation thing for him, like him coming and bossing MLS would be fun to watch.
I almost think that he's kind of just trying to get in the news to a degree. But did you see Pogba? There's an interview where he was kind of dragging Wayne Rooney as a leader and this and that, and just saying all sorts of incendiary things about Wayne Rooney to get back in the news.
That comes with Pogba, right? We're talking about mentality and attitude and all this stuff. And by the way, I do think Major League Soccer needs personality. I'm not going to say like don't sign a guy because he's got a big personality. To me, that's wrong. It's exactly entertainment and sport. It's a mix of those things. But if you talk about those guys on that list, and Mo Salah's got ego, there's no doubt about that, but he's definitely not the kind of guy that goes out into the media trying to stir things up. Mo Salah, as KY says, that's the biggest one in terms of like current ability combined with his potential impact on Major League Soccer. Like Griezmann, great player, definitely on the backside of things, playing at Atletico Madrid, a good team, but not one of the most visible teams in the world. Kevin De Bruyne playing at one of the biggest clubs in the world, most successful clubs in the world, but playing in a position where I don't think he moves the needle as much as Mo Salah does, even if he's incredible. And again, I think that would be great. Benzema, if he can score at the levels that he did in Madrid, and I haven't checked his Saudi Arabia numbers, I'm sure they're very good.
Yeah,
Would
who's
be
on that
fun.
beat?
Talk about a guy who loves flashy cars and all that stuff. Like, Karim Benzema's lifestyle would change. He would still have a ton of money and still be able to do a lot of things, but it would be a very different kind of existence in Major League Soccer, depending on the city that he was playing in. And that's the other issue. There are only so many cities that I think these guys make sense in. And then you start talking about, well, like, okay, can we imagine Antoine Griezmann playing for FC Dallas? Like, I don't know, Robert. Can we do that?
I was just daydreaming of Mo Salah bombing down the right wing for FC Cincinnati. I mean, can you see it?
That would be incredible. And no, I cannot see it. I cannot see it. And like Atlanta United has got DP slots open, and they're an ambitious club. But can you imagine them? This is why they have to go. I say have to. This is why they go into South America and try to sign these up-and-coming young talents from places like Boca Juniors and Paraguay, because they're not going to convince, generally speaking, the established European star, and maybe they don't want to from a business perspective, from a cost-benefit perspective, but they're not going to get those players. Those players are going to – what cities are those players going to, Robert? You give me those cities. Don't say Detroit, because you don't have a team and they're not going there. Go ahead.
So it would be obviously Miami.
Miami.
The two Los Angeles teams.
The two Los Angeles teams. What else? There's maybe one more place, but I don't think two more teams.
I was going to say New York, but the teams are...
One's got a good stadium, but they play in Jersey, and they don't seem to want to sign big names. And the other one could sign big names, but they play in a baseball stadium at least for a little while longer, a couple of years more. So
it's a little bit tough. Obviously Pogba, out of those 6 players, he seems actually the most realistic. He has the most like reclamation to do out of any of those players, and the most willing to be pulled.
His stock is low enough that you can imagine Pogba landing in a place that is not, maybe Chicago even. Like, Paul Pogba in Chicago is not impossible to imagine right now.
And they'll still be playing through the summer, and Lake Michigan, like Chicago's on the shores of Lake Michigan, and in the summer you can't tell that that's not South Beach. So maybe you can get the guys on there's yachts in Lake Michigan, so you can be convinced. Like, don't show them Chicago in like March and April.
I think
July in Chicago is amazing.
My sense is that a lot of Europeans would underrate Chicago. They just don't know. They just don't know. Maybe watching Emily in Paris has got them more aware of what's going on in Chicago. I don't know. She's supposed to be from Chicago in that show. Don't ask me why I know that. Maybe that's the thing. But yeah, that's San Diego, by the way. Nate has mentioned San Diego. I will say, since we threw up those 6 names, Kevin De Bruyne, per Tom Bogert, has shown some interest and may have been in contact with San Diego FC's leadership to potentially move to MLS to be one of their first players, their first big name players. San Diego is, you again, just a little bit of awareness. And some of these players are more worldly than I'm giving them credit for, Robert. Let's be fair. You can't just assume stupidity. Like, they don't know anything except Miami and Los Angeles. No, some of them
There's
do.
some.
Some of them do. And I don't think it's that hard to say to like a Kevin De Bruyne, hey, look at this place. Look at the weather in this place. Look at the beach and the ocean and the culture and hey, you want some tacos? Man, we got some tacos in San Diego.
Not to forget about Orlando, another Florida team, obviously not as glitzy as the Miami Brethren.
No.
Did Kaká ever say anything like glowing about his experience in?
You're right. Kaká
Orlando?
did sign in Orlando, but I also think that a lot of that had to do with Orlando having Brazilian ownership. I think that had a lot to do with it. But that's a fair point that Kaká did land.
But has anyone followed him there since?
No, they haven't. I don't think they've been willing. Like, I don't think they've been willing to kick the tires on a name. Like, maybe they have behind the scenes and we don't know it. But my guess is that Orlando decided that their approach was not going to be the big former European star or European-based star in the case of Kaká. Like, I just don't think that's what the direction they wanted to go. And this is interesting, right? Because MLS teams kind of have to pick their lane. And this is not different than any other league in the world, because Brighton's not going to be signing the biggest names on the planet. They have to be smart about who they sign. But the geography dictates so much of what you're capable of in terms of the kind of players you can sign in Major League Soccer. Bruce Arena, I think a year and a half, 2 years ago, was talking about the situation with the Galaxy. He was obviously no longer the Galaxy coach. This is when he was in New England. And he was like, there's no excuses in LA. People want to play in LA. So you just have to figure out a way to, work the roster rules to get the players who want to be in LA to come to LA so you can win in LA, because you have such a built-in advantage. And it's clear that LAFC is riding that same wave with the players that they've brought in. They've been smart and gotten, like, Denis Bouanga was not a big name, but he's an MLS superstar. But they've added those pieces around the Bouanga and brought in some big names that have really helped them. So, if you have that advantage of geography, you should be leveraging it. But maybe the measure of Major League Soccer's growth is going to be its ability to get some big name players, hopefully not 38, 39-year-old players, but more like 32-year-old players, into places that aren't Miami, Los Angeles, even New York.
It would be pretty unreal to see any of these players. I think De Bruyne would be fantastic, but Mo Salah ripping down the right-hand side.
Can I just say, I know there's the altitude thing. Colorado is a beautiful place. Utah is beautiful. Those are beautiful places. You like the mountains? You should be signing up. Paul Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, Karim Benzema in Utah. It's a pretty funny thought. It's a pretty funny thought.
Yeah, I don't know if his lifestyle quite matches up. And do they have yachts on the Salt Lake? I mean,
I don't think the Salt Lake. Well, it doesn't. What's the thing about salt water? Like that much salt?
You
like,
float.
You're
very buoyant.
Right?
Buoyancy levels are high.
Maybe he just wants to lay around in the Salt Lake. I don't even know that's the thing you can do. I have no idea. I've never seen the Salt Lake myself, so I have no idea.
You might be convoluting that with the Red Sea, but
I know in the Red Sea there's a lot of floating. Yeah, that's
that's a whole destination. Stuff. Thanks for everyone chipping in on the conversation. Everyone kind of tickles the interest and the imagination to picture these players here in Major League Soccer, and kind of a Messi and that Barcelona 2012 crew has kind of opened the doors as far as what is a realistic player.